Hey guys, and welcome back to another 2022 LEGO set review, not Star Wars this time around. Today we are taking a look at the brand new Creator Expert Delorean, inspired from the hit movie series Back to the Future. Now the set will retail for $169.99 here in the US and comes out on April 1st. This will be available on LEGO Shop at Home and at your local LEGO store as well. Now, a huge thanks to LEGO for providing the DeLorean for review today. This is pretty interesting, being I'm not the expert on Back to the Future lore, if you will, but I will be giving a pretty good review of it today. Of course, if you guys have any information that I forget to add on, including the DeLorean or even the minifigures, definitely comment it down below. So let's actually take a quick look at the box here. LEGO is still continuing their pretty much glossy black background, which is pretty cool. You can see the reflection of the DeLorean on the bottom of it. Of course, you have the build itself with some really cool electronic lightning graphics around it. And you also have the Back to the Future logo on the very top. As you flip towards the back, though, there are tons of cool things, and one thing I would like to point out right off the bat is you can actually build any one of the three Back to the Future models of the cars. There are 3 movies, and each movie has a different sort of take on the DeLorean. Now in today's video, we're going to be going over the first movie iteration of the DeLorean. It is a little bit tricky to get the parts. The set comes with all the parts you need to change the DeLorean into different versions. However, it's not as easy as taking stuff off and putting it back on, so we're only going to be going over the first version here today, but here's a better look at all 3 versions. You can build any one of the 3 should you choose. I actually want to start off with the minifigures first. There are 2 minifigures, of course, Marty McFly and Doc Brown. Now again, I'm not the expert on Back to the Future, but I do want to talk about these figures because they are super detailed. First off, we'll go over Marty McFly. I feel like he's sort of the more popular one. What I love about this minifigure is there is side printing on Marty McFly's, I think these are either jeans or like blue cargo pants. Either way, they look amazing. He has a red vest on with like a sort of pink salamander colored t-shirt right underneath with a different colored arm. It's more like a dark bluish gray, which looks really cool. Marty McFly does have 2 different heads. He has a more sort of standard grin, and then he has one where he's sort of angry, which I guess is pretty standard for lots of minifigures. But I think the legs on this minifigure are the standout, and honestly something I might end up using in other mocks as well for my own. The next minifigure here, of course, is Doc Brown, the genius behind the DeLorean and the time travel. He does have a really sweet hairpiece, which I believe is something we've seen in LEGO before, but not something I've actually owned. It sort of has like the sort of high hairline, really old frizzy hair going into the back, which is super cool. Doc Brown does have 2 faces. He does have the one where he's sort of grinning, and then he also has one where he has his sunglasses on. I guess that's probably not the right technical term. You guys who are experts can let me know down below. But overall, a beautiful minifigure. I love the colors, especially. They pop really well. You have like this red collared shirt and tie underneath, and then he also is wearing this sort of yellow jacket that he wears in the movie. So overall, both of these minifigures are amazing. I can't speak onto how much different they are compared to the older LEGO Ideas set, but I know they are super amazing. And then the last thing is it obviously does come with a stand for it. It does have like this sort of Ultimate Collector Series plaque here. It is a sticker. It says Back to the Future, Time Machine, the manufacturer, Dr. E. Brown Enterprises, the year, the power, the 1.21 gigawatts, which is the only thing I know from Back to the Future, powered by plutonium, which we'll get to in a little bit. And yeah, so overall, it's a nice little display piece. You have the plaque and the minifigures, which is really just like UCS set, which is a huge thumbs up. So now let's talk about the DeLorean. Now this is roughly in the same scale as other vehicles we've gotten from Creator Experts, most notably like the Porsche, the red pickup truck, other similar vehicles like that. It is in a very similar scale, and you can see here how the minifigures actually scale right next to the DeLorean. It's a pretty big model. According to the box, it is a little bit over a foot. It's actually 13.5 inches long, which is pretty good. So a couple of quick general things about this. First of all, it's a DeLorean. The wheels do go in hover mode. It's just a quick, simple flick, and you got the wheels. They can go both regular, like they're driving on the street, and then of course like it's hovering. I think it's cooler when it's hovering, so I'll probably leave it at that. It's a really simple mechanism. It uses some tension rubber bands and a couple of Technic pieces. It's very, very smooth, very, very simple overall, really, really easy to engage with. Now the majority of the DeLorean is made of light bluish gray. However, there are some sort of silver metallic-y parts, especially as you work towards the back of the DeLorean, which is pretty important, but it overall comes together really, really well. I think the standout part of this DeLorean is the flux capacitor. If you see on the back here to the engines, there is tons and tons of detail. There's lots of wires, lots of hoses, which is just kind of essentially glorified greebling. For those of you who are familiar with that term, it basically means adding details, lots and lots of details onto a smooth surface, which is really cool. Now, right underneath the lightning pole on the back of the DeLorean, you have this little push down button, and that will actually light up the flux capacitor. Now, I don't know too much about Back to the Future, but from I know, this is sort of the brain behind everything that happens. So you push this down, the flux capacitor lights up right in the middle of the interior, and it also shines light on some other cool details. But that is something really, really cool. There were rumors about the set having lights, which was true, so that's also a super good plus. Taking a quick look at the interior here, first off, you can see here the doors do open upwards, which is nice. And what's super cool, I'm not sure if this was intentional or not, but the doors actually close on their own, at least from the version that I've built. Maybe that's just a fault on my part for building it, but I think that's kind of cool. So you could open both doors on either side and they will sort of just glide down, which I think is super cool. Now, taking a look at the interior, obviously it's not to scale with a minifigure, so I wouldn't recommend putting Doc Brown or Marty McFly in there. It is a little out of scale, but you can see here there's beautiful details, especially you have the clock, which obviously is how they go back to a certain point in time. That is a sticker, and if you place it well, obviously it looks really, really good. So you can see here all the cool details, the gadgets and the gizmos inside the front passenger seat area, which looks really cool. Now, one of my favorite parts about the DeLorean, obviously, is the part underneath the front hood. Now, if you reveal the front hood, you take it up, basically it's just connected by a couple of arms, so you can basically lift it up. You can see here two pretty important things. Number one, we have the plutonium, which is obviously the fuel that sort of gets the whole thing going, so I believe that's pretty important. It looks super good. It is stickered, but overall the build for it's actually pretty sick. And then right behind it, you do have Marty McFly's hoverboard, which I also believe double as a skateboard. Now, that is stickered as well. It has a smooth bottom too, so it really gives the illusion that you're flying, which is super nice. But that is just another added detail, which I thought was really cool. And there is actually a stud, so you can connect both of these inside, so they're not loose. They're not moving around, which is really, really cool. Now, as you go towards the back here, of course, you have the two larger engines. You also have the license plate at a time, which is pretty iconic. Now, this also does come with a second license plate you could use for the other variants of the model. Here's a quick look at that for those of you who are interested. You have some beautiful details, lots of transparent coloring, mostly trans clear, red, and then orange, obviously regular colors you would see on a traditional car. One of my favorite details on the car are the wires that sort of go all throughout the sides of it. It starts basically on the front of the car, it loops through the side mirror, goes all the way down and right back into the main compartment with all the details on the back of the DeLorean, which is just something I really, really liked. And then one quick look at the front here, I see there is a lot of potential for aftermarket light up kits, especially on the front headlights. I feel like the DeLorean has such an iconic front look to the car, so you could definitely put some lights in there. It's got the license plate, and here we have some of that reflective metallic gray that I was mentioning before that is throughout some of the car, which is a nice touch. So I got this review from LEGO, and I was very honest because obviously this is not something in my wheelhouse, but it definitely is pop culture. And to be completely honest, I haven't seen the movies. I watched a little bit of it, obviously, to make sure I was somewhat educational when I was talking about today's review, but this is a really, really sweet car. $170 is a very fair price in my opinion. Comes with two great minifigures, obviously such an iconic piece of pop culture history, and I think it honestly has just such an amazing look, and I know a lot of you guys who are going to buy it are going to like it a lot. So that has been my review of the DeLorean Creator Expert set. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think of this. Is this going to be a day one purchase on April 1st, or will you be waiting a little bit maybe for this one? I feel like this is going to be a very niche category of fans who want to buy the DeLorean, maybe a little bit out of my age range, maybe the older AFOLs in the community, but there are a lot of fun aspects of this build I think a lot of people will enjoy. So drop a like if you enjoyed today's video. Make sure you subscribe. We got more reviews coming out early right here on the channel, so make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell icon, and I'll see you later. Take it easy. Peace.